Not particularly, no. I mean, obviously she has pressures that she's taken on and things, but we spend a lot of time together.
Have you ever thought about why some kids don't like princesses or why so many do? Everyone was shocked when Pippa Middleton said, "I hate princesses." But what does she mean when she talks? What does princess culture really mean? Why did Pippa's comment get so much attention? It shows how our ideas about being a girl and even about royalty have changed in big ways. Let's get started. The viral moment. In 2012, during a lively Halloween event, Pippa Middleton found herself in the middle of something that would soon become an internet sensation. She was making a public appearance to promote a book about families that was full of holiday celebrations and fun things to do with kids. It was a happy, lively, and active place, exactly the kind of place where spontaneous moments can happen and, in today's world, spread like wildfire. When Pippa and a young girl dressed up for Halloween talked for a short time, it caused a lot of attention. This kid, who seemed more interested in scary costumes than fairy tales, said something that made everyone pay attention. She said she hated queens. Instead, she liked pirates and vampires, who are often seen as brave, daring, and a little rebellious. People laughed and made fun of her for saying something so simple and honest. It showed some childhood tastes that are different from what most girls are introduced to as princess culture. Not only did the child's statement make this moment go off, but so did the way the media covered it. Soon, news stories not only reported what the child said, but also shifted the attention to Pippa Middleton, saying that she said or agreed with the child that, "I hate princesses." This turned a short, friendly chat into a shocking story about how Pippa is said to dislike princesses, a phrase that has a lot of meanings given her close ties to the British royal family. The innocent background was taken away and changed with catchy headlines meant to get people's attention and make them act. The video of this meeting became popular very quickly after it was posted online. People on social media sites shared short clips of videos that got a lot of views and comments from people who wanted to say something. Some people laughed at how direct the child was. Others were interested in Pippa's playful answers, and many more were interested in the claim that her name was linked to something scandalous. The video went viral and started a lot of conversations about princess culture, gender roles, and how famous figures affect how people think. In this digital age, this event is a great example of how viral moments work. A small, real conversation can be blown up, changed, and put together in ways that make waves on the internet. It shows how tricky it can be to catch a real moment without making it into a story that gets a lot of attention but might not be true. Because the media likes to turn complicated events into catchy phrases, the real nature of the interaction is often lost. In this case, a child's honest choice became a famous person's declaration that many people got wrong. This video's popularity also shows how quickly news can spread on social media, sometimes without giving the whole picture. As more people read a snippet, the story expands beyond its original scene. As opinions, memes, and reactions come in, a cultural moment is born that can shape how a person or event is seen, even if the original goal was not to. As a woman known for her calm public image and close family ties, Pippa Middleton was linked to a comment that wasn't really hers to begin with. This event that went viral also shows a bigger problem with the way we use media these days. Quick shares and catchy headlines are often more important than reading carefully and understanding. It makes us think about the stories we read online and remember that there may be more to the story behind every popular video than meets the eye. When Pippa and a child talked about princesses and childhood decisions at a Halloween event, it started out as a simple, fun exchange. It quickly became a cultural talking point about these things. But this moment is more than just media hype. It speaks to a deeper part of society's interest in female culture. It makes you think about why princesses are so important to kids' imaginations and what it means when someone, even a kid, says they don't like them. Is it just a matter of taste, or does it show a bigger change in how we think about gender roles and how kids should play? Right there is where the story gets even more interesting. We'll talk more about princess culture in the next section, including why it's so popular, why some people don't like it, and how events like this show how people's ideas about women and identity are changing. Why princesses rule the childhood imagination. For girls all over the world, princess culture has become one of the most famous parts of being a child. It seems like princesses are in everything, from toys and movies to outfits and birthday parties. But why does this happen? Why do so many girls dream of being a princess, living in a big house and wearing a fancy dress? It's not just that princesses are pretty and shiny. It has more to do with how society tells girls they should act and what it means to be feminine. In its most basic form, princess society tells girls what they should look like and how they should behave. It's mostly about beauty, ease, kindness, and sometimes just being still. Most of the time, the princess is shown to be pretty, nice, and waiting for a prince or someone to save her. This idea sends the message that girls should want to be admired for how they look, and that being kind and making other people happy is often what makes them valuable. Industries worth a lot of money are behind this love of women. The princess story is used in toys, clothes, movies, and books. Businesses understand that princesses are popular, so they make a lot of princess-themed goods to keep kids interested. There is a huge business side to princess culture, with things like dolls that look like famous princesses, makeup kits, and clothes. It's not just for fun. It's a big business that shapes what kids play and how they play it. But princess culture is more than just fun and beauty. It changes how young girls see themselves too. There is a clear message about what is important when queens are everywhere, being pretty, graceful, and well-liked. This can feel restricting to a lot of people. It can make girls feel like they are less special or worthy if they aren't a princess. From a very young age, this can hurt your self-esteem and make you feel like you have to look or act a certain way. People have also said a lot of bad things about princess culture because of these worries. A lot of people say it reinforces narrow gender roles by telling girls to care more about how they look and wait for someone to save them instead of being strong or independent. Some people say it promotes consumerism by making families and kids want to buy expensive princess-themed toys and costumes instead of promoting more creative or different kinds of play. People who don't like princess stories say that they often set impossible goals because the characters live in magical worlds that don't show real-life problems or differences. It makes more sense when we think about Pippa Middleton's famous "I hate princesses" words. Even though people didn't take what she said seriously at the time, now we can see it as a rejection of these ideas. If she says she doesn't like princesses, it could mean she doesn't agree with the idea that girls should only want to be pretty and quiet. It sounds like someone wants a different society where kids, especially girls, can be brave, adventurous, and true to themselves without having to fit into a princess role. It's not that they don't like fun or fairy tales. They're just questioning the limits that princess society can put on kids' minds. There is a push to broaden what it means to be a woman by letting girls like pirates, monsters, and superheroes just as much as, or even more than, princesses. It means that identity and play shouldn't just be about following a shiny, perfect image, but also about choice, freedom, and being real. Being aware of this greater meaning helps explain why that short moment with the child and Pippa was so important. People didn't just dislike princesses for no reason. It was part of a bigger cultural conversation about what girls can be and how they should be allowed to grow up. People were able to question long-held beliefs and talk about youth in a wider range of ways. But princess culture doesn't just affect kids. It also reflects older ideas about what it means to be a woman and a princess, which is related to Pippa's life and what people expect of her. To get a full picture, we need to look at how Pippa Middleton fits into the story of the royal family and how her looks either support or challenge standard roles. Next, we'll talk about Pippa's unique position as a princess and a normal person, as well as how her personality and public image make the "I hate princesses" moment even more interesting. Pippa's unique spot. She is best known for being the sister of Catherine, Princess of Wales, who is one of the most famous women in the world. Pippa's job and title as a royal are less clear than those of her sister. She has a close relationship with the royal family because her sister married Prince William, but she does not have a royal title herself. This places her in a unique spot, near enough to royalty to be seen everywhere, but far enough away to keep her own life private. The fact that she is royalty adjacent affects how people see her and how she acts in public. In contrast to her sister, who represents the royal family and all the customs that come with it, Pippa often comes across as the more normal person. She carefully manages her public life because she likes being in the spotlight, but also values her privacy. A lot of her personal life stays out of the media's lens, which is something that a lot of people respect about her. In this way, she seems like a person who is part of the royal world, but isn't completely in it. This one-of-a-kind spot has changed how people see Pippa. People often think of her as friendly, cool, and up-to-date, someone who likes family gatherings, being outside, and having a full, happy life. Many people think of members of the royal family as being more formal and traditional, but her attitude feels more hip and modern. Because of this, she stands out as a different kind of role model, one who combines custom with a laid-back, modern way of life. The comment, "I hate princesses," goes well with this picture. It backs up the idea that Pippa isn't about royal glitz or the usual princess dream. She seems more like a normal person, the kind of person who might joke that they like vampires or pirates better than princesses. With this moment, people saw her as less limited by royal standards and more linked to real life and her own honest thoughts. Besides that one comment, Pippa's public comments and projects often show how much she loves her family and British culture, especially traditions and celebrations. She has written books about British fairs that show how much she loves simple, happy events that bring people together. These projects put more emphasis on community and getting people to work together than on luxury or royal pomp. In this way, Pippa shows a modern British identity that values tradition while also welcoming everyone and having fun. She talks about how important it is to enjoy the little things in life with family and friends, instead of worrying about how you look or your status. A lot of people like this method because they see her as someone who is both part of a famous family and who keeps things real. People's ideas about what it means to be related to royalty are also changing because of her image. When people see someone who can respect customs while also being themselves and acting normally, they like it. Pippa strikes a good mix between the spotlight and her private life, between being serious and having fun. This shows a new way of being royalty adjacent that feels less distant and more open. Because of this balance, her comment that "I hate princesses" wasn't shocking or embarrassing. It felt real and in line with who she is. She seemed more like someone who might also feel like princess society doesn't fit with who they want to be. She became a symbol for people who wanted to break free from old-fashioned ideas about girls and women. But this also makes people wonder how they feel about people who are related to royalty but don't follow its strict rules. People have strong opinions about what it means to be part of the royal family and what kind of person people think people in that family should be. There are different ways to deal with fame, family, and identity in the modern world, as shown by Pippa's method. Her story makes it possible to look at how the media and public standards affect the lives of people who are close to the throne, but not in it. This also makes us think about how the media builds or breaks down these pictures. What does reading news stories and headlines do to how we see people like Pippa? Just because you hear something or see something briefly doesn't mean you can judge it. When news goes loud. It was a simple, honest moment when a child at a Halloween party said she didn't like queens. The story took off on its own when the media learned about it, though. Many news sources cut the playful exchange short and ran with bold headlines like, "Pippa Middleton hates princesses." All of a sudden, what started out as a child's personal choice was presented as something Pippa herself said. This change is a standard example of how the media uses sensationalism to get people's attention, even if it means lying about the facts. People can't stay away from a story that says a woman with ties to the royal family hates princesses because it's dramatic and surprising. To get people to click and share, it plays on their interest and even shock. On the other hand, these stories often leave out important background information, giving people a skewed picture of what happened. Many people only see the emotional claim and don't see how funny the exchange really was. This makes them think less of Pippa than it should. How people see famous people and celebrities changes when the media treats them this way. When titles lie or simplify, they can give people the wrong idea that sticks with them. People involved find it hard to change the story or give an explanation because the first opinion, which is often the most shocking one, gets around the fastest. People may not understand each other, be judged unfairly, and even have their identities hurt. When someone said, "I hate princesses," it put Pippa Middleton in a tough spot. It seemed like she turned down a sign that was connected to her family's royal position. Many people had questions or even started a debate about this, even though the original moment was innocent and not meant to be taken seriously. Focusing on catchy headlines, the media turned a small event into a story that didn't fully reflect reality. This changed people's views in a way that was hard to undo. This trend isn't just Pippa's. Other famous people have been in similar positions where the media twisted what they said or did to make it more interesting. For instance, politicians' words are often taken out of context, which can turn a complicated policy explanation into a scandalous soundbite. People who are famous may have jokes or casual comments that become controversies quickly. These examples show a common way that the media can make drama happen or make it worse to get people's attention. This sensationalism has effects that go beyond people's identities. It makes people more likely to judge things quickly based on news instead of facts. People share and respond to stories without reading them all the way through. This spreads false information and makes people think only on the surface. It also makes public figures feel like they can't focus on their work or personal lives because they have to deal with and react to false information all the time. In this setting, media duty becomes very important. It is up to journalists and writers to shape stories and change people's minds. Ethical reporting means finding a balance between the need for interesting stories and the need to be fair and correct. The public and the media can lose trust in each other when this balance is upset, which can make people doubt and distrust news sources. The way the media covered Pippa Middleton's "I hate princesses" moment made her realize how easy it is for public figures to be misunderstood. It also led to a bigger conversation about how we get our news and how important it is to read more than just the headlines. People started to wonder if the media should slow down, give full context, and stop making up stories about harmless events. When we know how the media shapes these stories, we can see why things like Pippa's comment seem so much bigger than they really are. It's about more than one person or word. It's about how stories are told and what that means for everyone. The power of the media can either tell us the truth or lead us astray based on how it's used. How princess culture shapes girls' worlds. There's more to princess society than pretty dresses and fairy tales. It changes how a lot of young girls see the world and who they are. Kids hear and see stories and pictures of pretty, kind princesses from a very young age. Sometimes they are just waiting for a prince to save them. What girls think about what it means to be a girl, what they should look like, and how they should act can be changed by these stories. Researchers and psychologists have looked into how princess society affects the growth and development of children. A major result is that princess stories can have an effect on self-esteem. When girls see princesses all the time who have perfect looks, good manners, and a life of wealth, they might start to think that how they look and act determines how much they are worth. If they don't think they meet those standards, this can put pressure on them and make them feel insecure. Gender identity is how kids understand and talk about being a boy or a girl. Princess stories have a big impact on this. People usually think of girls as being pretty, nice, and quiet, which is a very limited view of what it means to be female. This might make girls feel like they can't act the way they want to. Some examples are that they might not want to be brave, rough, or vocal because those traits don't fit the lady mold. Princess society has an effect on how kids play as well. When girls choose princess outfits, dolls, or games, they are often told to act like princesses. with an emphasis on looks, manners, and love. Playing is a natural way for kids to learn and discover new things, but if they only play one role, they might not be as creative and may not develop as many skills and hobbies. Because of these worries, a lot of parents and teachers are now pushing for more fun and different kinds of play. Kids can look at pirates, vampires, superheroes, explorers, and many other types of characters besides queens. These other options give kids a chance to show bravery, freedom, creativity, and strength. This change is based on the idea that kids can learn from having many roles, even ones that aren't usually associated with their gender. This is exactly what the kid at the Halloween party meant when they said, "I hate princesses." They liked vampires and pirates, though. Moving away from the standard princess story, she likes characters who are brave, bold, and even a little mysterious. This simple sentence shows that girls are becoming more aware that they don't have to follow traditional roles. They can pick roles and games that are fun for them and true to who they are. The way Pippa Middleton talked to this child shows how culture is changing in general. It shows how ideas about gender and playing as a child are changing. Girls aren't told they have to be princesses. Instead, they are encouraged to have a wide range of hobbies and personalities. Children should be able to discover who they are without feeling like they have to fit into a small box. This change is important because the games we play as kids affect how we become adults. Let kids play different parts and show different sides of themselves. This will help them feel more confident and teach them new skills. Also, they get a better sense of who they are beyond what people think of them. This helps build a culture that respects differences and uniqueness. Seeing a famous person like Pippa deal with this moment makes it more powerful. It makes people think about the question of princess society and its limits. It also shows that people who are close to royal families understand that things need to change. Families, teachers, and people who make media should think carefully about the lessons they send to kids during this time. That being said, it serves as a reminder that rejecting female culture does not mean rejecting fun or fantasy. It means giving kids more types of stories and games to choose from so that every child can find something they enjoy. Freedom to choose and the chance to be yourself are what matter most, whether that's a princess, a pirate, a monster, or a superhero. Next, we'll talk about how these new ideas about gender and tradition affect women in public and what they mean for how we think about gender and tradition in the future. Because "I hate princesses" is only the start of a bigger change in culture. What this reveals about changing attitudes. Pippa Middleton's famous "I hate princesses" comment may have seemed like a joke at the time, but it shows how people's ideas about gender, royalty, and identity have changed much more deeply since then. Princesses and other royal women have stood for grace, elegance, and strict custom for hundreds of years. They are examples of how women should act, always calm, polite, and well-dressed. When people had these ideas, they thought that women, especially those who were royalty or close to it, should follow strict rules about how they should look, act, and play their part in society. But things change quickly in the world. People are questioning these old rules and wanting something new more and more. They want to be themselves, be honest, and be free from old ideals. The public's view of royal figures like Pippa Middleton shows how this rising conflict between old royal ideals and modern expectations shows itself. When it comes to royal standards, poise and decorum are very important. The royal family is supposed to act with respect, stay out of trouble, and keep up a perfect image. This is very true of princess culture. Girls are shown princesses who are pretty, kind, and usually do nothing. It's taught that girls should be pretty and polite, but not too brave or independent, by having them wait for kings to save them. Modern culture, on the other hand, values being real and expressing oneself. Real feelings, flaws, and unique characters are what people want to see. People expect famous people, like royals, to be real and easy to relate to. This has made people want royals who don't follow the rules, who are funny, and who aren't afraid to be themselves. This change is clearly shown by Pippa Middleton's public image. Catherine, her sister, has an official royal title and the tasks that come with it. Pippa, on the other hand, lives a private life with close royal ties, but is not a member of the royal family. She can combine tradition and modernity in this royalty-adjacent job. While having royal ties, she can also be friendly and down-to-earth. Pippa didn't say she didn't like fun or fiction when she said she didn't like princesses. It was instead a rejection of the narrow ideas that princess society promotes. The idea that girls should only want to be pretty. Passive princesses is shattered by her remarks. Girls and women can picture being brave, bold, and independent instead. This simple phrase turns into a strong call for change and strength. For women, being feminine doesn't mean being a princess. It can include things like confidence, strength, imagination, and leadership. Saying no to princess culture can help you say yes to a fuller picture of what girls and women can be. This idea fits in with the larger cultural talk going on right now about who we are. People don't want to be seen as simple roles or stereotypes. They want to be seen as unique people with complicated lives. This desire to break out of old molds and make identities based on sincerity and personal truth is shown in Pippa's moment. People are still interested in royalty, but their interests have changed over time. People want more than just royal customs and beautiful looks. They want the truth. They want stories that show how people feel, the problems they face, and their flaws. Pippa Middleton and other public figures like her help connect the old world of royalty with the new world of self-expression by being both traditional and honest. At the same time, Pippa's rejection of princess society shows how ideas about what it means to be a princess or noblewoman are changing. No longer are perfect clothes and polite smiles the only things that make someone feminine. It includes being strong, independent, funny, and sometimes rebellious. This new point of view is part of a bigger movement toward diversity and equal rights for women. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe for more. Don't forget to click the next video popping up on your screen. You won't want to miss it.